Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nyedis Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, the CIO of Nyedis, and today we're going to talk about Defcon. So, Defcon was actually now a couple weeks ago out in Las Vegas, Defcon 31. And it's something that we do every year. We take all the guys out. It's kind of our company retreat as we go to DEF CON and have a ton of fun for the end of the week and just kind of party and let loose and see what's kind of going on in the world of security. Because I feel like DEF CON has always had their finger on the pulse of latest and greatest like security techniques and people that are doing really cool stuff. And you just get to hear about a lot of cool people bragging about some crazy hacks that they've done. Like we talked about before about the guy breaking into the Pentagon with the kitten, things like that. Just lots of fun stuff. Learn how to pick locks. They have the lock picking village there. So a ton of cool stuff. So this year we flew out, had great expectations, and was, I would say, let down a lot. And we were not the only ones. This year, DEF CON to me was a total flop. The convention was a flop. The trip was amazing. Like we had a great time. We had a lot of fun just hanging out and going around doing fun stuff. But DEF CON as a whole, oh my gosh, I would say it's jumped the shark. I think this last year I was kind of like on edge. Like, I don't know, do I really want to do this again? This year, dead. It was just garbage overall everywhere. We'll probably still go back next year to do it. I just personally won't be attending DEF CON. I'll just be hanging out in Vegas having a good time. But for me, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like the old curmudgeon in me because I've been doing this for so long. I just realized the first DEF CON I went to was DEF CON 14. So we're at 31. I know. So I've been going to these a lot. And back then it was awesome. I mean, this is like the heyday, right? So it was back at the Riviera, which is gone, way smaller venue and more seedy, which fit, I think, the atmosphere of like the hacker, right? It's like you're moving out of your mom's basement into this seedy Vegas underground casino place where all these degens just ran around and were doing dumb stuff, right? Because like that's what was fun about it. It was people were giving crazy talks. There's the whole spot the Fed game, because we didn't want the Feds there. This was for us. This was for the one time where we could all come around and just do crazy stuff and be open and have a ton of fun. And there were no like agendas or anything going on. It was purely just a bunch of hackers meeting to show up, teach each other, learn new things, learn new techniques, have a great time, and just have a party. Like I remember distinctly multiple times you would see guys running around with like 40s duct taped to their hands, just running through the convention center, just being complete morons. And I think that's what a lot of the fun was just, it was a weekend where you could just go crazy, have fun, and just learn a lot of cool stuff and meet a lot of really cool people and have a really good time doing it. And I think now we're just over that, right? Because DEF CON has always tailed Black Hat. So Black Hat is the security conference. That's like the real corporate security conference where it's most of the time it's the exact same speakers giving the exact same talk, sometimes just a little bit longer and more in depth, but to, corporations. So Black Hat's where all the suits go. And then after Black Hat was DEF CON over the weekend, and then that's when all the crazies would come out and have fun, and you'd have some trickle over. I went to Black Hat once just because I wanted to check it out and see what it was about, and it was just that. It's a typical corporate enterprise conference, just focused on IT security and stuff. So if you're in the field, it's definitely a good one to go to and to be involved in for networking and stuff like that. But for a fun, hey, I'm going to have a great time and we're going to party and do a lot of dumb shit, like Black Hat is definitely not that convention. And it was always bigger, right? DEF CON was like the smaller, redheaded stepchild of a security conference where, this was like the, the respectable parent of them. And now it's completely flipped. DEF CON is way bigger than Black Hat, way more people. It spans 3 hotels. So it's in the Caesars Forums Convention Center, which is behind the Link, that big Ferris wheel thing, fills that thing up. And then it's also in the Link, and their convention halls up on, I think, 2 floors in the Link Hotel. And then it spans over into the Flamingo throughout the whole convention floor across the whole top of the Flamingo. So, I mean, it's just massive. And speaking of massive, it's not just the size, because, there's nothing, doesn't sound that bad. It sounds kind of cool. There's just that much to see and do. But the problem is there's so many people. I mean, it is just packed. There's so many people that are there. And it's just, you're waiting forever to get into like certain like AI Village, didn't even get to see it. You want to buy merch, you want to get like a t-shirt. I mean, before you'd have to wait like, I don't know, 4 or 5 people tops before you could get in to get a t-shirt. It's like going to see a band. Right now there's a line to get into the merch area, and you'd be waiting over an hour just standing in line just to buy a t-shirt. I mean, it's like, this is ridiculous. And then this year it was even worse than last year, because this year for the expo village, where like, you know, you could buy all the cool vendor stuff like tools and all that fun shit, like there was a line to get into that now, and that was like another half hour to an hour wait just to get in, to be able to spend hundreds of dollars on stuff you could just buy online. And this year it was, I would say 90% the exact same vendors as last year, selling the exact same stuff all over again. So it's really become, in my opinion, just very commoditized and redundant. From a talks perspective, there were a bunch that looked really cool. I only got to get into a few of them just because, like I was saying, there for the really good stuff, and that were in like the smaller, like the AI Village stuff, couldn't get in, massive line, and I'm not waiting an hour or even a half hour in line to go see someone talk about something that you really don't have any idea what's going on, just a little vague little blurb about what it is. And what most of the time we find out, you know, I went to a bunch where they were releasing a new tool or some type of an exploit or whatever, but pretty much all of them were something like this, like, hey, my name's so-and-so, I discovered this vulnerability, I'm going to go into how I did it, but it's already been patched and all the vendors have been notified, so it's completely irrelevant at this point, but I'll release the tool for it so you guys can play with it. So it's like, okay, so you're basically showing me just this cool stuff that you learned, which is great, but like, you're not really releasing anything. You know what I mean? And that was like, I know this sounds bad because you shouldn't be wanting people to release exploits in 0 days live in front of, into people in the world, but that's what Defcon's about. Like, Black Hat's the one where we should have these conferences saying, hey, look at all this stuff I fixed, where Black Hat's supposed to be like, hey, look at all this stuff that I broke, you know? And I think that's where the big, for me, disconnect was, is there really wasn't anything terribly informative where I was like, wow, this is amazing. Look at what these guys are doing. They're pushing the boundaries in here, and well, they're changing how the whole game of exploitation over here is working. Like, I'm just not seeing that anymore. I mean, could it be that, you know, people just aren't breaking stuff anymore? I don't think so. I think people are breaking stuff every day. I think it has to do more with it's become commercialized. And I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, obviously I work in IT security in a commercial sense, right? So I get it. People are just taking these exploits and they're now flipping them into profits because they're saying, hey, look, I've figured out this exploit. My security research firm found it. We're going to work with Microsoft or whoever they broke to get patched up and all this kind of stuff. And look at us. Now we're getting more contracts and we're doing more security work, pen testing work, vulnerability exploitation, code review, whatever. So I get it. I totally understand. I just feel that the roots of what Defcon was has just gone. But what I think that does is open up for someone else to come out with the new one. Like, someone else could come out with the new underground kind of real hacking convention, you know what I mean? Then I'd come. I'll have fun there. But so let's show you here. I'll show you some of the other kind of stuff that kind of happened as to why I think Defcon was a letdown. We got there really early. One of our guys, or a couple of our guys, showed up first thing in super early in the morning. I mean, like pre 6 a.m. in the morning, in line to get badges, because they stopped selling badges online way earlier than they did last year. And the badges at Defcon, if you don't know, are one of the coolest things about Defcon. It's actually like a PC board, and it's a hack in itself, where like a whole thing throughout Defcon is trying to figure out how to hack this badge. And it's almost like a puzzle scavenger hunt hackathon for the badge itself that the entire community is trying to work together to solve. Like last year was a PC board of a piano and actually made music, and you had to find everyone else's badges that played different music and had the notes, and you had to figure out what they did, and it had a little like a LCD screen on it. It gave you clues, then you had to go to this phone and dial a number to get another thing. I mean, it was a crazy thing, and they're always insane. Like, I've never figured them out myself, but it's so much fun to play and so much fun to do. And that's probably one of the biggest things everyone looks forward to. Like, the Defcon badge is an icon in the convention space, especially in the hacker space. I think people are going to hold on to those things for collectors forever. Anyway, everyone's super excited to see, hey, what's this year's badge? Because it's always a big secret. So got the badges this year. So when everyone showed up, you got this little tote bag thing. Okay, neat. Then we got the book. I shredded the cover and the back part of it, but this is, you know, the kind of the what's going on with the conference, the talks, scheduling, a little about the villages and some other stuff that's going on. So I was like, that was kind of neat. And then in here, they actually talk a little bit about the badge. So let me show you what the badge is. Let's just cut right to the chase here. This is the badge. This is it. That's the badge. Just piece, you know, that laminated paper, plasticky stuff. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, there was one more piece. Let me find if I can find this stuff. And there. Here's the other piece. This is the other piece of this here is paper, thick cardboard, because it was the back of the book. You had to pop it out And somehow this is supposed to go in here or something. I don't know. So the original badge that only a very few handful got were the ones that pre-registered, and I think maybe a couple that showed up like first in line. I don't know who could have been earlier than us more, but they're actually like a piece of plastic. So I don't know if you can see on here, but this girl, she's the one that actually made this year's badges, and she's holding it up, but it's a piece of plastic with like a cartridge slot where you take another piece of plastic and just put it in. No PCB board, no hacking, no try to figure it out, no anything. It literally is just a piece of plastic hanging around your neck. And very few people got them, relatively speaking, for the amount of people there. And then everyone else got this, just a regular ass laminate badge. I mean, to tell you that people were let down is a drastic understatement. So I just found out, it was a couple days ago, I think, there was an article posted online that said the festivities for Saturday night, which was like the last night when they have all the big parties and all that kind of stuff, was shut down early because of a suspicious package that they thought was a bomb. So they called in like bomb squad and all this kind of stuff, and they completely evacuated Caesar's Forums and basically shut down Defcon at night because of a suspicious package. First off, what is a suspicious package at Defcon? Because, I mean, you have crazy stuff that looks like nukes. I mean, there's literally a Raptor rocket engine at the conference sitting there. There's satellites. There's crazy contraptions people have built with tasers in it. I mean, there's just crazy stuff everywhere. So for something to look suspicious at DEF CON, I mean, did it say bomb on it? Because I really don't understand what would be a suspicious package. Anyway, whatever it was enough to shut down the entire convention, evacuate the whole thing. And then what's funny is in the article, as they're saying, okay, hey, this happened, and I wonder if it was because, people were pissed off about the badges, so this happened. So they actually made the connection saying that because people were so pissed off about the badges, they think that someone may have put in this bomb threat because of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because it was a serious letdown for people, and these people are crazy. So, yeah, DEF CON badge. Oh, and then they ran out of these. So then some people that they didn't even get this, they just got literally a piece of paper hanging around their neck saying, hey, here's your DEF CON badge. And they raised the price of admission this year too. I think it was like $350, something like that last year, and this year it was like $450. I know it went up almost $100. But I mean, really, it went up like almost like 30% or higher this year. So they charged a lot more money. They had way more people, and they totally chinched out in the badge. I don't know what it is. I mean, they have this whole thing, and it was totally planned. Like if you read all this, it actually says that this was done on purpose. Like literally the beginning. Aperiodically, DEF CON releases a non-electronic badge. No, that means someone f***ed up. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this badge was completely stupid and let down. Okay, now, you also got some stickers, so woohoo to that. And this I saved just because I thought this was cool. I love when they do this every year, and they did it again this year. It's the scavenger hunt. So this scavenger hunt, you have to go all around DEF CON and find all these weird things. I mean, they have like a silicon chip off the old block. It's just a joke. Prank call, TP profit, reboot your shoes. And you have to try to convince someone you found these things. I don't know. It's just tons of fun. This was actually cool. Had a great time. Overall, DEF CON, I think it was a letdown. And I really hope someone takes this to start up a new convention and really does things the right way. I can probably tell you that you're not going to see me ever paying money for DEF CON again. I think it's a total waste at this point. I'm going to be looking for the next best thing. I'll probably still be there next year just because I like going to Vegas, and I know the new guys into the field, they have a great time with it, and I want them to enjoy it. So I don't want this to be a total poo-poo on them. But for me personally, I mean, maybe I'm just old. I'm curmudgeon. Get off my lawn. I'll see you guys around. Later.